For many years, scientists thought they already understood how big a snake could possibly get. But in 2009, a discovery completely overturned that assumption. Deep within a coal mine in Colombia, researchers uncovered fossil remains so enormous they didn't match any known species of snake. What exactly had they stumbled upon? Grab your popcorn and join us as we explore the fascinating world of prehistoric giants. The discovery that changed everything. The site of this discovery, the Cerrejón coal mine, is far from an ordinary excavation. In fact, it's like a window into the distant past, an entire ancient rainforest preserved when it was suddenly buried under mud and ash about 60 million years ago. Plants, fish, turtles, an entire ecosystem frozen in time as if nature itself had pressed pause. Hidden within this ancient layer, scientists found something astonishing: enormous snake fossils, and not just a few pieces, dozens of massive vertebrae and ribs, all far larger than anything seen before. Things became even more unbelievable when researchers began measuring the bones. At first, they assumed their calculations were wrong and checked them repeatedly, but the numbers were real. This prehistoric snake stretched over 50 feet in length and weighed more than 2,500 pounds, over a ton, nearly twice as long and 5 times heavier than today's largest anacondas. Just imagine that for a moment. This wasn't simply a large snake, it was the largest land predator to exist after the dinosaurs vanished. And its existence revealed something critical about Earth's past. The planet must have been much hotter than previously believed, creating conditions that allowed such gigantic creatures to thrive. Why size matters. So you're probably wondering, how do scientists know how big this thing was from just some bones? Good question. Here's how it works. Modern snakes follow pretty predictable patterns. The size of their spine bones directly relates to how long their bodies are. It's like measuring someone's height by looking at their leg bones. So scientists took the Titanoboa vertebrae, compared them to modern anacondas and boas. The numbers checked out. This thing was massive. But here's the real question. Why was Titanoboa so much bigger than any snake today? What was different back then? The answer is temperature, and this is where it gets really interesting. The heat factor. One thing you should know about snakes is that they're cold-blooded. That means they can't control their own temperature as we can. If it's cold outside, they're cold. If it's hot outside, they're hot. They're basically at the mercy of their environment. And that's huge because temperature controls everything for them. How fast they grow, how quickly they digest food, how big can they get, everything. Think of it like this. The warmer it is, the faster their metabolism runs. Faster metabolism means they can eat more, grow faster, and get way bigger. It's like having a more powerful engine. So when scientists found Titanoboa, they weren't just looking at a giant snake. This snake was basically a thermometer showing them what the ancient climate was like. And get this, the planet had to be so hot that nothing like our modern world could support a snake this size. Not the Amazon, not the Congo, nowhere on Earth today is hot enough for Titanoboa to exist. A different world. Okay, let's go back 58 million years. The dinosaurs are gone, the planet is rebuilding, and things are getting seriously hot. In what's now Colombia, the average temperature year-round was at least 90 degrees Fahrenheit. But here's the fun part. There were no cool seasons, no winters, no cold nights, just constant, relentless heat, all day, all night, all year. And in this environment, cold-blooded animals thrived because warmth is fuel for them. The hotter it is, the better they do. So everything grew massive. Turtles the size of cars, crocodiles with skulls like battering rams, and of course, Titanoboa. Modern anacondas and pythons are already pushing the limits of what today's climate can support. To get bigger than them, you need a world that's several degrees hotter, consistently, for millions of years. Titanoboa needed that insane heat to survive. Its massive body required blazing temperatures just to function. To pump blood through 50 feet of muscle, to digest food, to move. Without that heat, it couldn't exist. The perfect hunting ground. The world Titanoboa lived in wasn't some nice, clear river. It was a dense, muggy swamp. Murky water, tangled roots everywhere, thick vegetation is blocking out the sun, and visibility was terrible. But for Titanoboa, this was perfect. Being a giant in this environment was a huge advantage. Water supports weight through buoyancy, so Titanoboa could lurk in the swamp without its body crushing itself under its own weight. The murky, dark water hid its massive bulk, and the heat kept its muscles warm and ready to strike. This wasn't an accident. Titanoboa was the perfect product of an extreme world specifically designed for its benefits. High heat, tons of prey, and a swampy maze designed for ambush predators. The ultimate ambush predator. So how did Titanoboa actually hunt? Forget what you've seen in movies. This thing wasn't chasing prey across land. Are you kidding me? 40 feet of snake doesn't run. It would sink into mud, drag on the ground, fight gravity with every movement. On land, Titanoboa was slow and vulnerable. But in water? Totally different story. In the swamp, Titanoboa moved like a crocodile. Slow, silent, mostly submerged. It would slip between fallen trees and roots without making a sound, just gliding through the murky water like a ghost. And here's the scary part. For something this big, staying hidden was easy. The dark water was like camouflage. It didn't need to chase anything. It just waited. Hours, days, maybe weeks, completely still, until something got too close. And when it struck, game over. Scientists estimate Titanoboa could withstand over 400 psi of pressure. That's enough to instantly crush a crocodile's ribs. Modern constrictors cut off blood flow to kill prey, but Titanoboa, it just crushed whatever it grabbed. Bones, organs, everything. There was no escaping that grip. So what was on the menu? Based on the fossils found at the same site, we've got a pretty good idea. Giant turtles. These things were everywhere. Slow, easy to catch, and packed with calories. Perfect snake food. Early crocodiles. Huge fish. The rivers were full of them back then. Maybe some early mammals, though mammals were still pretty small back then. But if one wandered near the water, yeah, it was getting grabbed. But here's the thing. Water wasn't just where Titanoboa hunted. It was essential for survival. Water supported its weight. Without buoyancy, Titanoboa would struggle to even move on land. Its own body would crush its internal organs. Breathing would be hard. Movement would be exhausting. Plus, water helped it regulate temperature. The Titanoboa could cool off in the water when needed, while still keeping its metabolism high enough to function. The fall of a giant. If Titanoboa was such a dominant predator, why did it disappear? Why aren't humans dealing with 50-foot snakes today? The answer is surprisingly simple. The planet changed, and Titanoboa couldn't keep up. After the Paleocene era, Earth slowly began to cool. The shift didn't happen overnight. It took millions of years, but even a gradual drop in global temperature proved disastrous for creatures like Titanoboa. As a cold-blooded animal, Titanoboa depended entirely on environmental heat to function. When temperatures dropped, its metabolism slowed, movement became sluggish, digestion took longer, and growth and energy levels declined. For an animal of such enormous size, this was devastating. Titanoboa needed huge amounts of food just to survive. But with a slower metabolism, it couldn't hunt as effectively or process meals quickly enough. Over time, survival became harder and harder. In simple terms, the species slowly faded away. Its massive body was perfectly built for a hot world, but not for a cooling one. At the same time, ecosystems were shifting. Mammals were becoming larger and more diverse. Being warm-blooded, they could stay active in cooler climates, competing for food and space. Meanwhile, the wet, swampy rainforests Titanoboa depended on began drying out. Rivers shrank or became seasonal, and the human habitats it thrived in started disappearing. And Titanoboa wasn't alone. Other giant reptiles, enormous turtles and crocodilians also declined. The entire food chain supporting these massive creatures began collapsing. Titanoboa wasn't wiped out by a predator or disease. It simply couldn't survive a slightly cooler planet. A small climate shift was enough to erase the largest snake ever known. Why this matters? And that realization is important. Climate doesn't just influence weather, it shapes what kinds of life can exist at all. Titanoboa was almost impossible by today's standards, enormous, powerful, and perfectly suited for a world much hotter than ours. For a few million years, conditions were ideal. Temperatures were high, food was plentiful, and the environment allowed giants to thrive. Then the planet cooled just a bit, and Titanoboa vanished, leaving behind fossils and a reminder of how different life can look when conditions change. And it raises an interesting question. What other incredible creatures could exist under slightly different circumstances? So, which fact surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this trip into the world of prehistoric giants, don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got many more incredible extinct creatures coming up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.